What's up? Welcome back to my channel, the best place for hardworking millennials to bring positive change to their careers. Now, in this video, I'm going to teach you how to stop being a people pleaser at work. So make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell to receive regular updates on all things related to improving your career. Also, join my Facebook group, Career Change Advice, where you can connect with like-minded individuals who are interested in making their careers work for them. Hi, I'm Dr. John Tam. I have a PhD in sociology from the University of Oxford, and I'm passionate about helping people bring positive change in their careers, whether it's through gaining career clarity or building soft skills. So like I said, in this video, I'm going to teach you how to stop being a people pleaser at work. So without further ado, let's get started. Step 1. It's to become self-aware. And self-awareness of your feelings and owning them is the most critical first step of being able to recognize what's going on. Only then can you respond appropriately. So it would also mean checking your primary and secondary emotions. And what do I mean by that? Well, secondary emotions are emotions on the surface. It's what's manifested. So, for example, if you are angry and you lash out at somebody, that's probably because there is a primary emotion underneath, which would be pain and hurt that that person may have done to you, right? And so when we're talking about primary and secondary emotions for people-pleasing, a people-pleasing secondary emotion could be a result of a primary emotion of fear of rejection or fear of inadequacy or the desire for acceptance, low self-esteem, and etc. They could all stem from past pains and experiences. And when we're talking about the brain, it scripts itself, it codes itself, and this is what happens when little infants or toddlers start exploring the world. When they touch something, they realize that, ow, it's causing me pain, then you know not to touch that anymore, and it scripts the brain. So what happens is when you have negative experiences that lead to pain, that creates a negative impression onto your brain, what happens is your brain is scripted to react a certain way. So any of the emotions that I listed earlier may lead to the result of people pleasing. So with your past experiences, your brain's scripted in a certain way, and anytime any behavior is set in autopilot, which is what we're running at most of the time, what happens is that you automatically default to that behavior. So understanding what are the primary and secondary emotions that are leading to people-pleasing behavior is the very first step of tackling it. Step 2 is to understand that while self-awareness is critical to diagnosing the problem, it may not actually be emotional baggage type of situation. You may not have that problem to begin with. Instead, it could be simply because your personality disposition is simply more agreeable relative to everyone else around you. So to be sure about that, you can take personality tests to know whether you are really indeed more agreeable than everyone else. And I'll put a free one in the links below. Now, the rationale behind doing a personality test is quite simple. Because you need to map yourself relative to everyone else, what a personality test does is it takes a sample from a population. So just say if the population is the United States of America, and you grab a random sample of people across the US, and then you test them on their personality, and then you see where everyone scores. And after doing that, you're able to map the test results on who is where relative to everyone else. So if you are indeed more agreeable than everyone else, then what that means is you'll need to build soft skills such as setting stronger boundaries or learning how to say no to people around you at work, such as your coworkers or your boss. So check out this video here where I talk about how to say no to your boss. Another thing that you can do is setting stronger workplace boundaries with your colleagues, and I also cover that in this video here. In fact, I have a whole playlist on how to say no in the workplace, so definitely check that out. Step 3 is understanding the principle of reciprocity. Sometimes doing too much hurts relationships more than it helps relationships, and I like to draw on Adam Grant's research, and Adam Grant's a professor at Wharton at the University of Pennsylvania, my alma mater. And one of the best-selling books that he has is called Give and Take. And in Give and Take, he outlines that people in the workplace can be divided as givers or takers. And while there are plenty of givers who make their way to the top of the corporate ladder as the nice guys, right? Because they know how to give favors and also how to receive favors from others who have benefited from them. There are also plenty of people at the bottom of the totem pole who keep taken advantage of by takers. And he recommends the best approach that everyone should take at work is to start out as a giver, but also be very careful in screening everyone to make sure that you're not taken advantage of. And there's also a clear distinction to be made between someone who is polite and nice and well-mannered versus someone who's a taker, because a person could be very well-mannered, very nice, totally polite, but all their actions are that of a taker. You need to be especially careful of these types of people. So essentially, his recommendation is be a giver until you are taken advantage of too much. And in essence, if you do too much for others, you are over-functioning in your relationships, which inevitably leads to other people to underfunction. So if you want people to treat you with respect, you need to start learning how to balance giving and taking. And essentially, if you're in here watching this video right now, it's probably because you lean towards being a people pleaser, right? So are you a giver or a taker? Let me know in the comments below. Step 4 is to be authentic. And by being authentic, I mean authentic to yourself and others. It means that if giving is too painful, then it's time to be authentic to yourself and be real. Being nice isn't doing you any good. After all, there are things that probably led you to click on this video, like I said before. So what are those things? You need to be real about it. Being authentic also means owning up to your feelings and letting others know what you really feel. And of course, that's scary. But however, it's also essential to be authentic to yourself, because if you're not real with other people, you're also not being real with yourself at the same time, because you are feeling pain. So the whole point behind this is to stop feeling the pain that people pleasing is generating. However, letting people know can be scary. And so the 5th step is to let it go. If the reason why you're much more agreeable to others is because of things that have happened in the past and you can't let it go, then that's all the more reason to let it go. Oftentimes, we love to treat the symptom, such as toning down people pleasing, but that doesn't really fix the root of the problem. So for example, if you have a hole in the roof of your house and it's raining, you don't solve the problem by putting more buckets underneath the hole or increasing the size of the buckets. Eventually it will fill up, especially on a very stormy day. You fix it by doing the deep work and patching up the hole to prevent the rainwater to going in. So think of it this way. If you refuse to let go of whatever pain that has led you to become a people pleaser, what that means is you're accepting whatever your abusers, bullies, or other negative people in your life have done to you or believe about you. You'll remain in their captivity and you'll never really be able to reach your full potential because of something that someone said or done to you in the past. So that's why it's super important to let go. If the hole in your roof is so big that you cannot mend it yourself, then there's no shame in going to seek professional help, because chances are the hole may get bigger over time with wear and tear. And I'll give you a little bit of confession myself. I myself have seen professional help when I was going through my darkest days, when I was dealing with severe imposter syndrome at Penn and Oxford. And the whole process of going to see help helped me a lot to patch my own holes, right? So much so that I really have no problem sharing that it's totally okay to get help. And so the whole purpose of letting go is to free yourself from this type of people-pleasing bondage that the past has put upon you. And so a quick disclaimer, I'm not a shrink. I can't give professional advice on emotional pains and so on, but I could definitely recommend seeing counseling if it's caused a lot of pain for you and has led to repetitious behavior of people pleasing in the workplace. And that's it. That's my 5 steps on how to get over people pleasing. Now, one of the things that I think is worthwhile to mention is that if you are not really in the people-pleasing camp where there's a lot of emotional baggage and it's simply because you are more agreeable than everyone else, what that means is that you may not be in a good career fit. And so if that's the case, I would actually recommend you to download my guide on how to find your ideal career, and I'll leave it in the links below. And of course, there's also the personality test that I mentioned earlier, which works very well with that guide, and it's also in the links below. So essentially, you need to find the career that is right for you. In my next video, I'm going to talk about how to find your career in your 20s, even if you have no passion whatsoever. You're not sure of what you love, and you're not sure of what the next steps are. So make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell for updates for when that video comes out. Also, leave a comment below, because I like to know your thoughts on this video, because this video I touched upon, you know, some slightly deeper stuff than usual. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, and don't forget to give it a like and share it with your network if you found this to be valuable. Take care, everybody.